everyone, and welcome to Trail Talk. I am going to be with you today. My name is Mary, and I'm coming to you from the other end here of our classroom studio here at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center from Duncan, Oklahoma. Today, you guys are joining us. We're going to be doing some fun after-school snacks that are just really, really easy to prepare. Your kiddos can help you with them. And they're probably made all with things that you guys already have at home and don't even have to make a trip to the store for. So today we are going to be making some what we call apple nachos, which are going to be really fun. We're going to be making some spicy, or not really spicy, but some pretzels and also some fruit pizzas. So the only one really that takes any kind of preparation, or maybe something that might not be able to be eaten right away, will be the pretzels. And they're probably not much different than what you've already made at home before, but these are not going to be spicy. They're going to be ranch pretzels. So your kids will probably love them. If you're like my kids, anything with ranch, they love. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you can go have them put that just in the microwave for just a little bit, just to melt it for me. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to start off with today is, like I said, our apple nachos. All of the recipes and things we will put on the comments after the show is over. So if you guys want the recipes for any of these, don't worry, you don't have to keep up while we're doing this live. I will post them in the comments later, so you'll have them to refer back to. So the very first thing, like I said, apple nachos. So the ingredients, or the things that you're going to need for this, include 2 apples. You're going to cut those into thin slices. 1/3 of a cup of creamy peanut butter, and you're going to melt that. That's what Miss Tina went to go melt for me real quick. 1/4 of a cup of granola, and 1/4 of a cup of peanuts chopped. So while we are waiting on the peanut butter, I have already here measured out 1/4 of a cup of peanuts, and so I'm going to just dump those out onto my plate. And I went ahead and got the honey roasted just to give it a little bit more flavor rather than just the regular dry peanut. This will have just a little bit more taste because they're honey roasted, and so just a little bit more sweetness for the kiddos. Of course, you're not going to use that much, so if you want to use just the regular peanuts that you already have at home, that's more than fine to use those, whatever you have on hand. Thank you, Miss Tina. I feel like I'm like on the Food Network here. I'm like sitting here. I have my mise en place all prepared here, all measured out. Those of you that watch cooking shows, you know that the mise en place is very important. You know, you get your prep work done. And then if you're anything like all those people on the Food Network, they usually have someone behind the scenes that do all the dishes. Here, we have to do our own dishes. So we haven't quite moved up into that step yet. So we have our peanuts all chopped up. Miss Tina brought me the peanut butter, and so it's nice and melted.
Well, we hope.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a plate. I'm going to move my peanuts over here. I have a plate here that I have started chopping some apples, and you can use whatever color apple. You can use a combination of different color. I have some Gala apples and some Granny Smith apples here. So I'm going to take a little bit of both. I'm going to slice them into little thin slices and just place them around my plate. Make them however big or small you might want there, just enough to kind of cover the entire surface or the plate or platter, whatever it is you're working with. Miss Edie is not here with us this week, but she will be back with us next week. So if you are watching and wondering where she is, she will be back with us next week. We have Miss Tina behind the camera with us, like always, doing a great job. All right, so you guys get the picture here. You're going to arrange your apples on a plate, okay? So it kind of looks like that. Just arrange however you want to, just so it's kind of covered there. Okay, and then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your peanut butter, So I'm going to take the spoon that I gathered it out of there with. And you're gonna just kind of drizzle it all over your apples.
Is it not melted enough?
It's good enough. It's good enough. Because I have 2 spoons here. This is kind of like your cheese for your nachos. Okay, so the peanut butter acts like your cheese. You're going to arrange and smother that all over your apples. Because who doesn't like apples and peanut butter, right? That is just, you got your healthy apple, the peanut butter, which is nice and sweet. And it's nice and sticky. So anything you put on top of that is going to stick real good to it. Okay, so you get your peanut butter all spread out. Now you're not going to use all of it. You're going to save a little bit of it for later. And that's going to be to dip your nachos in. So you're going to take that, and then you're going to take your peanuts that you chopped and sprinkle those over the top of your apples. However much you choose to use. And if any of this stuff you don't like, you don't have to use it. If you don't like peanuts, you don't have to put peanuts on. You can substitute it. And then your granola. You're going to take your granola, which is 1/4 of a cup of the granola. Sprinkle that over the top. And so when it's all said and done, and I just got the honey or the oats and honey granola, sticking with the honey there. So when it's all done, and that is what your nachos will look like. Something similar to that. So it looks like just little nachos right there. And so whenever your kids come home from school, they can help you make this. You can have it ready for them. You can see that I made that in about 5 minutes or less. So it didn't take hardly any time at all. The preparation is simple. Your kids, if you know, with your supervision, can use the microwave, so you guys can do this together. It's just a really fun project for you guys to do, and it's a healthy snack for your kids as well. So that is the apple nachos. So I'm going to set that over there and brush my hands off. And we're going to move on now to our second recipe, which is going to be the ranch pretzels. So this is the only one that really takes some time to develop. So what you're going to do, can you go get me a big bowl, please? We're going to take 1/2 cup of oil, any kind of oil you choose. It said peanut oil or oil of your choice. I chose olive oil. So 1/2 cup of oil, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and then 1 package of dry ranch dressing mix. So just a package of the ranch dressing mix, okay? I just went ahead and emptied everything out and marked how much was in it, so that way it was easier. You guys wouldn't have to sit here and watch me measure everything and try to get it just perfect. I did that beforehand. So again, my mise en place is all done. And you're also going to need a 16-ounce bag of the mini pretzels. So I picked just the Snyder's of Hanover, the mini pretzels. It happened to be 16 ounces. So this is what I'm going with today. You guys could also use 16 ounces of the sticks. Whatever pretzel style or design you guys choose to use is great. Just about 16 ounces is what you need. Thank you, Miss Savona. Okay, so what you're going to do here is you're going to combine your oil, your garlic powder, and your ranch dressing all together. So I'm going to take my ranch dressing and mix it in here to my oil bowl. And then the garlic powder. So this is going to be the seasoning that's going to make your pretzels into ranch. And you're going to mix this up really good. The oil and the powders, the seasoning mixes, and it's going to look kind of funky, but trust me, it comes together in the end. It kind of looks like pesto. Whenever you get it all together here in this bowl, just mix it up real good because you don't want any clumps. You want the ranch mixed in with the garlic, and you want the garlic mixed in with the ranch, and you try not to get it all over your hand like I just did. But you know what? It's fine. It's just some oil. It'll clean up real easy. That's why we have paper towels, right? Okay, so the next step, I'm going to throw this away. The next step is you're going to take your pretzels and you're going to pour them into a large bowl here. And you'll take your mixed up oil that you have, that you've got all nice and mixed up. Now see, it looks nice and green, kind of like a salad dressing. And you're going to take this and you're going to pour it all over the pretzels. And if you wanted to, if you didn't have a big bowl that's big enough to do this, you could also, I have done it before, where you take it, you put your pretzels in a big like Ziploc bag, and then pour your oil over that in the Ziploc bag, and then you can just mix it all together in the bag. That works really well too. And then you're not dirtying up a bowl. Then you can just throw the bag. I'm all about saving. I've already talked about doing dishes twice now, so you can tell I don't like to do dishes. So you're going to mix your oil into your pretzels, and you can kind of see how they're getting covered because they kind of get that shiny sheen to them because they're getting that oil on them. You can see the little specks of green from the ranch dressing mix running through it as well. So mix that up really good. So you can see I'm just using a plastic spoon here, a disposable spoon. So your kids can do this just as easily. You can do it in the plastic bag. Like I said, like a Ziploc bag. Your kids, I'm sure, would love to just sit there and just go crazy mixing it all together, because what kind of fun is it to turn a bag upside down, you know, and make sure that, just to make sure that there's not any leaks. You know, kids like to make sure that it's not going to come open. And then you're going to take your bowl of pretzels that you've got all mixed up, and you're going to get a sheet tray or a cookie sheet. I've lined this one here with just a piece of wax paper, and you're going to sprinkle these out here. Let me move this over here. Just kind of lay them out as they come here. I probably shouldn't have thrown my spoon away yet, but I have another one here. I'm going to scrape all that last little bit of goodness out of there. We don't want to miss any of that good ranch taste. So we're going to do that and set that to the side, and then you're going to kind of lay these out. Kind of just give them some room. And you could also do this on 2 sheet pans, or if you have a large counter, you could line your countertops with some foil or wax paper and just leave them out, and you want that to sit out. So this, like I said, is the one that's going to take some time, because you do want to leave these out to dry, and then once they've dried, then you can store them in an airtight container for about up to a week. But if you're anything like my household and other places that I've brought these pretzels to, they don't usually last a week, so you don't have to usually worry about that. But here are your ranch pretzels. So this is another one that's fun to make with the kids. The kids, they can make this and then take it as their snack the next day or for the rest of the week. You can put it in cute little sacks if you have a birthday party, all kinds of different ideas that you can do with those pretzels. Okay, the last snack, after school snack fun that we're going to have today is going to be in the form of what we call some, getting the rest of my stuff out of the way here, some fruit pizzas. Okay, so our fruit pizzas, everyone probably has their own little go-to recipe on the fruit pizza. Ours that we're going to do today involves Let me go ahead and just read off all of our ingredients here. So for the fruit pizzas that we're making today, they're considered mini fruit pizzas. You're going to need for the total 4 medium-sized tortillas, and you can substitute those with whole wheat tortillas if you choose. A half a cup of plain Greek yogurt, which I have here already measured out. 1 teaspoon of honey, a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, which I have those two together here in this cup. 3/4 tablespoon of orange juice, and then 1/4 of a cup of 3 to 5 different kinds of fruit. So here I have picked strawberries, we have some blackberries, some apples, and some grapes, and that's what we're going to put on our fruit pizzas today. So you can also use kiwis, you can use bananas, you can use whatever kind of fruit you might want to use. These are just the 4 that I picked for today. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting our stuff together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the vanilla extract and the honey and mix it in with the yogurt as well as the orange juice. So I'm going to put all of that together, and that's going to be my pizza sauce, if you will. So I'm going to mix all of that together in my little Greek yogurt cup. And this is going to be just super yummy. So there is my honey and my vanilla extract. Make sure and get all that yummy sugar out of there. Okay, and so now, and I put the orange juice in there, so now I'm going to mix all of that together very carefully so that I don't spill any out. So that's just a half a cup of yogurt, 3/4 tablespoons of orange juice, the half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and the teaspoon of honey. So it turns into this really pretty, like, I don't know, kind of a honey looking color of a cream. Kind of looks like icing, if you will. And adding in that honey, that natural sweetener, and the orange juice. And then, of course, your vanilla extract. Okay, so we get all that good and mixed up. Get rid of those there. So now, back to the fruit. And I just use this brand of yogurt because that's what I found today. I'm going to take the grapes and I'm going to half each one of those so they can just lay flat onto my pizza so that they're not rolling around. I'm just going to cut a few of them up here. And I'm going to do the same thing with the blackberries so that they're not rolling around. Makes it just kind of easier to place them on a flat surface if they themselves are flat and not rolling all around. So I'm going to cut a few of those up. And then, of course, the strawberries, I'm going to just go ahead and take the top off. And then I'm just going to cut little coins of the strawberries. So it looks like little strawberry coins. So again, those will be nice and flat. And I've cut some apple slices there, but those kind of have browned since we started. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some just thin slices of the Granny Smith that I already have right here. Just some thin slices. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm just going to do this on one for right now. Take these peanuts off of here. And I'm going to take a tortilla, however you want to say that. And we're going to, now the recipe says that you can cut it into a shape. You can use a cookie cutter. If you want to, you can take a glass and kind of make it more of a smaller circle. You can make them into fun shapes. like, let's see, we're coming close to Halloween, so you could take a cookie cutter like in the shape of a pumpkin. You can make cute little designs. You could do for Christmas, you could do snowmen, you can do all kinds of different things, Santa Claus shapes, and cut that shape out of the tortilla. And then you would have that kind of like a cookie. You can also substitute the tortilla for like a sugar cookie base instead of the flour tortilla there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take just a spoonful of the Greek yogurt mixture. We're going to spoon that around. And I'm going to go ahead and make a full one here. I went ahead and grabbed another spoonful just so that you can make sure and get it from edge to edge and corner to corner. I guess it's round, so there's not really any corners, but you know what I mean, full coverage. Okay, and then you just take your fruit and just lay it however you'd like. So we're gonna put some strawberries, some blackberries, take some grapes and put those around, some apples. Let me cut that apple and try to make it look really pretty with all the different colors. Put some more strawberries over here, maybe some more blackberries. And you know what? There we have our fruit pizza that you can make real quick, real easy at home with your kiddos. And so here is what it looks like. Can you guys see that? You got a cute little fruit pizza there. And so your kids can have that as an after-school snack as well. All right. So that is everything that we have for you guys. Those are our 3 recipes for fun after-school snacks. My daughter actually just got here, so she's going to have her pick of snacks for her after-school snacks. So you want to come up and try one? Sure. Okay, so Madison's going to come up here and try one of these. Now, which one do you want to try? You want to try the nachos, the pizza, or the pretzels really aren't dry yet. So do you want the nachos or the fruit pizza?
I'll try the fruit pizza.
Okay, so I'm going to cut her off a little piece here. You guys be sure to join us tomorrow for Trail Talk. We have a couple of special guests that are going to be joining us tomorrow. Our director, Scott Metelka, will be here. And we will have Miss Julie McKinney and also Miss LD joining us. And we're going to have a little Western Spirit Roundup. So we're going to talk about all the fun stuff that we were able to accomplish this weekend with the help of you guys coming out to join us, as well as what to look forward in future Western Spirit. And so we really hope that you guys join us here tomorrow at 3 o'clock. You can join us, of course, like you did here today, live at 3 o'clock on Facebook Live, or by following the Zoom links that we have on our website. And I think right now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this to Madison so she can try it to eat. I'm going to actually feed it to her because my hands are already dirty. So here, take a bite. How is it?
It's good.
See, she's a pretty picky kid and she likes it. So your kids will like all these snacks too. Try them. Like I said, we will put these recipes in the comments for you guys so you can have them for future reference. And be sure and join us tomorrow at 3 o'clock for Trail Talk. And you guys know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Happy trails!